we believe that there's a reason why more and more and more buyers and sellers are using agents than ever before, because they need that level of comfort. They need the trust. It's a big moment in their life. And when we think about the place of AI in this industry and what we can bring to the table is we know that the 2 million agents that operate in North America are incredibly good and at providing an exceptional level of customer service. Everything else should be background noise. Everything else should be a support tool for them. Let this industry focus on what it does best, which is service its clients, while all the minutia, all the little tasks, the analysis, whether it is marketing, whatever it may be, that's where Mave fits into the equation. We believe we can get after the 80 to 90% of tasks that an agent needs to get done to make them more efficient. And that's really our mission here at the company.
This is everything they never told you about real estate, helping you scale your business, implement AI, and capitalize on the latest tech and lead gen strategies. And now here's your hosts, the AI queen of real estate, Carrie Soave, and the queen of Canadian real estate, Jennifer Jones.
Welcome back, everybody, to the podcast. I am here with some very special fur babies who have joined us and are probably going to bark a little bit. So I apologize ahead of time. Stop fighting. And we're here with one of my favorite people. I've got to know him pretty well over the last little while, Raz Zohar. He is the founder of Mave. It's like
you should introduce me everywhere, anytime, ever.
I just like sing it. I'm just gonna sing it. So Raz, thank you so much for joining. I know it's been a super busy time for you, and we'll get into why. But before we do get into that, I want to tell everybody what Mave is. So for those of you who don't know, I'm Canadian. I live in Ontario. It's very happening up here because we have a lot of listeners in the US. And we have a lot of agents, Raz. How many agents do we have just at Treb? Like 90,000 or something?
70,000. 70,000.
Yeah. So we have quite a big market, quite a lot of high need for AI. And Mave is the first true AI agent, I would call it, but it's an assistant. That's how you'll understand it, people, that actually has access to MLS data. So thank you so much, Raz, for joining.
My
just
pleasure.
love to see your face. And like, he invites me to Toronto a lot, but I always, I have a thing about driving to Toronto.
Come on. Our team loves you. Come hang out with our team.
I know. I told you I need a helicopter.
You literally get a helicopter, come on down every single week for lunch. Our team is just waiting. Literally.
Right. I feel like the traffic into Toronto and around Toronto, for those US listeners, I would like equate it to like LA. Okay, so Raz, you heard how I explained Mave. Like, how do you explain what Mave is?
When we think about Mave, we want to be the trusted assistant for the real estate industry. So I know you like the word agent. Agent is the proper AI term, but to dumb it down and to kind of drill into what we do is we realize there is so much work that agents do that take up almost all of their time when they try to close a deal. That takes time away from actually dealing with the relationship with the customer, doing what you do best. And what Mave's overall mission is really to take that off your plate and utilize real estate data, MLS data, to really be able to address your every need as you go about your day-to-day. And that's what we do. We're the AI assistant for the real estate industry, and we're building on top of it. I'm dying right now.
That's okay. Get some water. This is like, do you know is it warm in Toronto right now? Like, I feel
it's boiling.
like it's super hot here right now. I'm like sweating.
We're back.
Okay.
We're back.
So basically, okay, so this is big. This is huge because you have access to MLS data. And good for you, because dealing with some of these data sources are like, I don't know how you did
They're
it.
tough.
I literally don't know how you did it, because it's not like the US. For everybody listening down south, the US is more open with their data. They just hand it over for some cash and they're like, take whatever you want. No, I'm sure it's not that bad. But yeah, it's a little bit different here in Canada. Like, everything is hoarded. Like, we have data hoarders. I'm like, Give me everything.
It's
And then why are you
different.
keeping it?
It's different. You know what? The boards work differently in Canada, to your point. I mean, whether it's a pay to play situation in the States or just the overall collaboration and the level of competition, it's a different industry here in Canada where, look, you said it. The Toronto Real Estate Board is 70,000 agents. They command a ton of power and a lot of attention from the real
Yes.
estate industry. So to partner with them, you don't only have to convince them that you are a worthy partner, but they also have to believe that what you are providing is truly a net value to their customers, which are the agents, it's their members. And what we did is as we started growing, and I'll tell you our whole story, obviously, but what I think was a huge surprise to us was how much the Canadian real estate industry actually just wanted to partner with us. They just believe in our vision and they believe in what we're trying to do. Yes, to get through the door was an absolute atrocious, terrible process. But once we did, everyone just is on the same page. It's been so nice to work with them and partner with them.
Oh, that's awesome. And you know what? I want to hear about the whole journey. But first, for those agents that aren't like piecing this together, what exactly this means for their business, having MLS data and sales data is so important because that now an AI can advise you, can provide comparables for you, can advise you on value. It can talk with you about current listings without you having to log into MLS. So that is
100%.
the value if that was unclear. And I'm a firm believer that AI is only as good as its data points.
Oh, yeah,
Or
that's
what's the
100%
point?
true.
Like, yeah.
It is what's the point. And it's funny you say that because when I was learning about this industry, I realized realtors have two if you really look at it, they have two incredibly important jobs.
Mhm.
When you're supporting a buyer, you have to be the world's greatest consultant. All
Yeah.
right. So when we were looking at how the workflow works and what people are actually doing to support their clients through that process, look, there's a ton of information out there that your consumers have on a day-to-day basis. And when a realtor comes on, you have to flex your muscles. What are you bringing to the table that no one else can? And when we originally built Mave, we went at it thinking, okay, if we just plug ChatGPT in and just let you do your thing, maybe you'll get the right support. But very, very quickly, we realized that's just obviously not the case. There's so much information. The
Yeah.
data points just don't connect. To your point, the Toronto Real Estate Board, any MLS board in the States, they're not going to give ChatGPT or OpenAI its data. I mean, the data they have is what they have, right? That's the big value. And what we realize is for us to be able to service you on a day-to-day basis, for you to be in a building and say, hey, does this building have rent control? What's the pet policy? If I'm in the building, what's a comparable sale that my client needs to know about as we think about how to price this? Let me give you a more complex situation.
Yeah.
You're looking out the window at a condo downtown Toronto, and you need to understand, hey, are there any projects going up in the area that could potentially obstruct my view that in 4 years from now I have a totally different unit? The power of AI can actually allow you to answer those questions effectively if you have the right data set. And that's what we've realized we can develop as long as we make those partnerships happen. So when you are being a consultant, when you are going into a meeting, whether you know a ton about it or nothing about it, what we love to say that Mave is your assistant in your pocket, that if you're ever in need to provide an answer on the fly or do research for your client, it's a simple question that you can literally send a voice note to and just be like, what projects are going up in the area? I need to know because my client needs to make a decision for the next 5 years of their life. And at the end of the day, that's where we bring the most amount of value on a day-to-day basis. That's for sure.
Yeah. And, people have been patiently waiting for this tool to launch. We've known about it for a while, but like, I just tell them, like, hold your horses, because if the data isn't organized and isn't correct, it brings the value down of the tool and you have to do everything yourself. And there would be no point in having it unless it's just so on point. Now, I need to point out, this is a tool specifically for realtors. Okay. You had a choice of building something for the general public or building something for agents. You chose agents. That's why we love
I
you.
did.
And this is more important than ever right now. So, okay, there's a wait list for this for this tool, but get on the wait list because it is more important than ever because a few days ago, ChatGPT search was launched. And this is going to change things in terms of how buyers find properties. And if you are not using a tool like Mave, something a cut significantly above an AI search engine that the consumers have access to, where's your freaking value? You know what I mean? Like I hate to say it, but like you cannot have your clients knowing more about AI and using more AI than you are as an agent, or else you're irrelevant, right?
No, but it's funny you say that because that's what we realize. And yeah, we picked realtors and agents on purpose. We very much believe in the future of the agent. This is our belief. You can throw as much AI into the equation. You can have the most realistic AI voice agent talking to you, guiding you through a real estate transaction. At the end of the day, when one of your clients is going through the most meaningful and important purchase of their life, which is their home, where they're going to raise their family, we believe that there's a reason why more and more and more buyers and sellers are using agents than ever before because they need that level of comfort. They need the trust. It's a big moment in their life. And when we think about the place of AI in this industry and what we can bring to the table is we know that the 2 million agents that operate in North America are incredibly good at providing an exceptional level of customer service. Everything else should be background noise. Everything else should be a support tool for them. Let this industry focus on what it does best, which is service its clients, while all the minutia, all the little tasks, the analysis, whether it is marketing, whatever it may be, that's where Mave fits into the equation. We believe we can get after the 80 to 90% of tasks that an agent needs to get done to make them more efficient. And that's really our mission here at the company.
Okay, so let's talk about how this all started and what the process has been. So let's get some background going.
Yeah. So I'm not a realtor. I'm not a brokerage owner. I mean, Carrie, I met you, I don't even know when it was just still an idea or we just started working on this. And my background is tech. I've been in tech my whole life. I've been a part of some great companies, had some great outcomes happen to me. And when we were trying to figure out what we want to do next, I've always been passionate about the real estate industry. And my wife and I bought a new home and really found ourselves wondering, okay, we see our agents busy, we see they're doing things, but what exactly is happening in the background that we don't see? Because all we see is our iMessage group chat where we just go back and forth. We talk about everything we need in the contract, and then that's about it. So the way I work is I got to go talk to everyone I know. So I spoke with 100 different agents, brokerage owners, just to understand how this industry works. And, read that NAR says that agents spend 35 hours on admin tasks to get a deal done. I'm like, okay, I don't really understand what these 35 hours are. No one's able to really tell me. So the only way I really found myself able to answer that was actually to do the work. So I actually became an executive assistant to a few agents for a couple of months and just did all the work because I'm like, give it to me. Let me just figure this out. Okay. Give me the contracts, give me the listings to market. Let me run your social media. Let me do whatever you need me to get done to make your life easy. And that's when I've realized that honestly, I have never had more anxiety in my life than being an executive assistant for agents because there are so many things happening and I didn't know what to do. So the interesting thing about how I operated, it's true. I mean, every second of the day, the agent's on the go. I mean, look, you're a small business owner. You're trying to help your clients in whatever situation you're dealing with. You're usually on the go or in meetings. So you need things done right away. And although you're giving me 15 to different 20 to even 20 tools to get some stuff done, you don't have time to explain it to me. And most of the time, let's just call it how it is, agents don't even use these tools. The only way they wanted me to help them was in 3 ways. They either wanted me to call them, to text them, or to email them. Nothing else mattered. Okay?
Yeah.
So my first instinct and where my head went was, again, not from this industry. I'm like, where's the brokerage at? Hello, don't we work for you? Aren't you supposed to give us all this support? I'm trying to market a listing. Aren't you supposed to be doing this for me? And when I called the brokerages, I realized very obviously, they actually don't work for you. that you're a contractor. And some brokerages support you along the way and give you amazing services, and some don't. And yes, there are a ton of tools out there that can make your life easier, but again, no one was really using them effectively. So what I realized from one of the brokerages that I was working with is they were actually trying to support you. And although it was very ineffective, there was a team there. And especially because I needed marketing support, I went and talked with them. And what I realized is they actually were nailing the communication pretty well. So I could call you, I can text you, I can email you with whatever support I needed. But it was taking 3 to 5 days to get support because they're so swamped. So and not even crazy support, Carrie. I'm talking, I need a social media post made for my new listing, okay?
Right?
Or I need like nothing, it's not rocket science. I need a feature sheet made for my open house. How am I going to wait 5 days when the open house is tomorrow?
Right?
Like I just don't have time for this. So I took over that department because I said, okay, what is happening here? How are you taking so long? And that kind of opened my eyes as to how this industry works and the type of support agents really need and the type of teams that people are trying to assemble to give you that support. And when we came up with Mave, we realized that if we wanted to give you the optimal level of support, it had to have 3 things in mind. The first is it had to live where agents actually work. You have to be able to text me. You have to be able to call me. You have to be able to email me. I don't want to change your behavior because if I do, you're just not going to care. The second is it has to be instant. I don't have time to waste. Time is money. Okay, I'm with a client right now. I need the support right now. Okay. And the third thing is if I am going to market you, it has to be the way I want it, keeping my brand in mind. So what that means is if you are a part of a team, if you are a part of a brokerage, you have templates, fonts, logos, whatever it may be, that when you need that social media post for your listing, it has to look the way I want it to, or else I'm not going to care for this. And when OpenAI really built ChatGPT to a level that we saw was what you see today, that's when we realized this is the first type of technology we've seen that can actually allow us to build the type of tool this industry needs. And, a couple of agents became a brokerage, became 2. Now in just Southern Ontario, to give you numbers, we're onboarding 90 brokerages and over 6,000 agents, and we're just slowly rolling them out. And it's all kind of happened through word of mouth.
Yeah.
The rest is history,
Yeah.
I would say.
I have a question. So will Mave be implementing the AVM API? And that's the advanced voice mode. So it gives tools that developers use the API so that they can have voice. Is it two-way voice? It's two-way voice, right?
Yeah. So we right now, our focus with voice is we allow you to use Mave through voice notes. We allow you to use it over text. And those are the 2 domains we focus on. But our idea as a company is to make Mave omni-channel. The dream situation, Carrie, is if I'm an agent and I'm driving in the car, can I just call Mave and be like, Mave, I need a whole new campaign for my listing done. Can you book this for me? Can you do that for me? And also message Carrie because we have a podcast to record and we got to coordinate. And that's what we want to get to with Mave. Obviously, we're just at the beginning, but yeah, that's where we're going with it.
Okay. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. You have built, this just goes to show you, and I'm a firm believer in organic relationships. That's how I built my business. And that's how you built Mave. Like nothing beats that. Like building a strong brand cannot be built on ad spend. It has to be built on relationships. And you are so good at that, Raz. Like I like to think we have a great relationship. He drove all the way down from Toronto to Niagara Falls, the casino, to have dinner with me and my husband. And I was like,
but you know what? It was the best. Of course I would do that. I mean, at the end of the day, just to spend time with a famous Carrie Soave and learn all about AI, it's worth every dollar. But at the same time, I mean, I think your network is everything. I mean, I'm going to say something that's maybe a little bit contrarian. I don't know if it is in real estate, but everyone always talks to you. I mean, I know, Carrie, you specialize a lot in lead generation and getting you quality leads. My belief is that your leads are actually already there, and you just have to find a way to get them. And the way to get there is by finding another door to open through the network you have. So someone really smart once told me is you never leave a meeting without 3 new names that you can be introduced to. And it's a little thing you throw at the end of saying, hey, based on what you heard about, who else do you think I should talk to that may be able to help or may be interested? No one will ever say no to you. No one will ever turn down a way to help you, especially if you have a good relationship. And in my opinion, the only way to open doors for yourself is to just go and be out there. And that's how good things happen, even if it's not so obvious at first.
Yeah. And, when I mentor and coach the people in my org, I'm like, guys, you need to be leading with like, how can I always lead with like, how can I support you? It means so much more. And that's how relationships are created. Somebody once told me something very similar. He said, you don't need more sales, you need more relationships. And that couldn't be more true. Right. And I'm just super excited for what is to come. Like, this is only the beginning. And that's what's so exciting about this. Look how far technology has advanced in the last year. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
I feel like, I'm really excited about a lot of the tools that are coming out. I'm starting, like, obviously, like, I use AI for absolutely everything. I started writing a book and I used AI to frame out like the outline of it. And it was like an hour process. It was great.
Have you used Notebook LLM yet?
No, but I hear people talking about it. What exactly is it?
So Notebook LLM is a tool that Google released that pretty much lets you upload any sort of data set into their system, and you can pretty much do everything with it that you want. It can write notes for you, summarize things, but the coolest feature, which I love because I'm a religious podcast listener, it'll literally make you a podcast about the information, and it sounds so absurdly real. And it's scary how good it is. You need to use it because it'll change the way you just take information in. I thought it's one of the best new AI products I've ever tried.
Okay, so here's the thing for my listeners. I'm signing up for this. So watch out for my next podcast and try to identify the ones that are not happening in real.
It's absurd. It's real. But you know what's unbelievable about this type of solutions is, as you think about content and what agents are really good at is, so it's interesting. With AI, a lot of people think about, can you write my blog post, which is an obvious use case. But even if you have all this blog post, tools like podcasts are a huge advantage to a lot of brands. What it can allow you to do now is take all of the content you have and it'll make you a full podcast show that you can release out with no more effort. You can create a whole new media stream for yourself just with the content you've already generated. So it unlocks all these worlds that you don't even think were possible. And yeah, that's why I geek over AI, Carrie.
Okay, so I have a question. So can it analyze video? Because like I have a lot of video content, or would I have to transcribe everything first and then feed it? Do you know?
I think it should work with video content as well. When I used it, I usually use it with articles or with publications, or my common use case is there's a few articles I want to read and I don't have time to read it because I'm driving. I'll put it into Notebook LLM and I'll just hit play on the podcast, and you literally listen to a podcast episode about the topic you want. And that's my favorite thing.
Oh my God, I love that. Do you know, because ChatGPT still cannot analyze video. Like it can talk about what it looks like, but it can't analyze the content of a video. And like, that's something as somebody, a content creator that creates a lot of video content, like I'm waiting not so patiently for that. So like, is there another LLM that has that feature and has that capability? Do you know?
I haven't seen for analyzing video as much. I know when Sora comes out, it'll probably be better, but here's what I always caution with AI. And this is just something I always tell people. I think everyone, including myself, are always so excited by all the possibilities AI has to offer.
Yeah.
And Carrie, you actually called that something very important with what we do. And in general with AI is you're only as good as the data you put into the system.
Yeah.
And what AI is also really good at is getting a lot of things wrong and incorrect. And you have to be able to make sure that when you do, analyze content, you look at video, you're learning about a property. If you are using AI and it's giving you wrong information, you're going to fail. And I think the companies that are going to win and the tools that are going to win are those who understand how to take unique data sets, like in our situation, real estate data in the MLS, and teaching AI to read it accurately. And that is something that I would always say, whenever somebody uses an AI tool, just take a look at it, double check it, because you want to make sure that whatever you're doing is doing it the right way and is not hallucinating.
Yeah. And that's interesting you said that. So are there any dangers in Mave being inaccurate or hallucinating? And like, what's the average? Like, if you can give me like a percentage and then give me the average percentage of an LLM. If you
Great
know that, I
question.
don't even know if you know that.
No, I could tell you, we can compare OpenAI versus Mave. So, I mean, OpenAI doesn't have real estate data, so it's really hard to benchmark it. But I can tell you, if you ask the same questions, you're going to see a 15 to 20% accuracy rate when it comes to MLS information on OpenAI, while Mave will be in the high 90s because we have the right information and the right accuracy. Now, the interesting thing about AI and using Mave is, let me give you two examples. You walk into a listing and you want to know about the neighborhood, the property, whatever it may be. If you ask Mave, how many bedrooms does this house have? And Mave tells you 50, and it's a 2-bedroom condo, that we lose. We can never be wrong about that. And what we've really trained Mave on is when it comes to MLS information, we can never feed you the wrong information because you'll just lose our trust.
Yeah.
Here's where AI does its thing. And this is where AI is still primitive in the sense of its capabilities. Let's get to a very extreme example. You're analyzing historical sales in a region and you ask it to compare to the American market. And if you were to look at this demographic and this type of client, how would you position this type of investment for it? I'm thinking of something very extreme on purpose because AI's analytical capability is just not there yet. And that's when AI starts hallucinating and starts trying to reason itself. And that's where the dangers come. And when we say, if you want to use Mave for that, go for it. But make sure you're double checking the math and making sure that the formula that you've used here looks good, because AI is just not there yet. It will be, but it's not there yet.
Yeah. So how long do you think it till it can reason?
I think it could reason okay right now. And when I say okay, we're talking like 80 to 85%. But I think over the next 6 to 12 months, it should be where it needs to be. I mean, the way this industry moves, every hour there's something new that's been developed. So it's hard for us to even keep up. And this is what we do.
Yeah. So ChatGPT search, I'm interested to find their stats on hallucinations when those start coming out, because I've been using it quite a lot. And did you know that they have a Chrome extension too? I
had no idea, actually. So, that's pretty funny.
So when you open the web, like the website version, it'll ask you if you want to download the Chrome extension. And when you do, be careful because it sets it as your default browser, which means that if you go into Google and search anything, it'll take you right back into ChatGPT and give you the answer.
It's a good hack.
Like, I enjoy it because there's no more freaking ads. Like, I am so sick.
That's a great point.
Currently in Google, like I Google anything and it's sponsored, one real result, sponsored. Like, I'm getting 1 or 2 actual results per page. Like, I don't want to be going to like 5 and 6 pages to accumulate enough volume for me to be satisfied. That's absolutely ridiculous, right?
Oh, yeah. I actually think you said it best in one of your previous episodes where, do
you listen to my show?
Of course, listen to your show.
Oh my God.
I think there is a reality that agents need to prepare for Search GPT, that the way it's going to work is AI is going to work in absolutes, where I think you even posted who's the top AI coach for the real estate industry, and you were the first option because you were optimized for it, right? But that's a great example, because think about listings. If you have, we'll see how that relationship works out with OpenAI, but if you search for a property, even in Mave, how do you optimize yourself to be the first result, that when an agent's looking, hey, I'm in the building, what else is available? You want your unit to be what that agent sees, right? So how do you optimize your listing to be the first one you find? I'll give you an example of something someone did with Mave, which I didn't even know was possible. Okay, we learn from our users every day. We had a user outside of Toronto, I mean, it's the Muskoka area. I don't know if your listeners know where Muskoka is, but it's like cottage country, lakelands. Okay. They had a new listing go live, and they were trying to find a way to get their property in front of people. So it was a luxury listing, very, very nice. And what they asked Mave to do is like, hey, Mave, can you give me the name of every single agent that has represented a property above this price point in this area? Get me their email, and then also write the email for me of what I should do to promote my listing to them. And that all happened in 5 seconds. I found whatever it was, 45 listings, every single agent that represented that listing, got their email because it's publicly available, and then wrote the email as to what to send to them. And the reason why that's interesting to me is because you have to be in the system to be found, right? So you want to know this because this is inventory your clients are going to care about, and you're just connecting the circles. So to think about how that's possible now is that just blew my mind. I didn't even know we could do that.
Think about how consumers are going to be searching for properties. Like, let's be honest, the average person thinks AI is some kind of like wizard, right? And they don't know much about it. So like I could see them trying to be like super, super specific. I feel like the MLS boards are going to have to remove the character limits on their descriptions, maybe allow for some kind of digital imprint of listings so that every detail of a home can be uploaded. Because if AI search engines can find exactly what you're looking for, unless you have every detail about that home, it's not going to be discoverable, right? To the general public. So I think there's going to have to be some change in how we upload listings. Maybe that's your next company, Raz. Let's build a digital a fingerprint for each property that stores every single detail of every single property out there, from like, my God, from like the measurements of each room to like the wallpaper and the floor. Like, I swear, like this is what's going to have to happen to be for a property to be discoverable or recommended by an AI search engine. That's my personal opinion.
And I think you're right. And so it's funny you say with character limits. I am actually under the belief that in the next, let's go with 48 months, every real estate website is going to have natural language built into it. So you can just be like, I need 5 homes in this area, and you'll be able to find it quickly. And that's great. But I actually think that the key unlock here is not going to be the text. It's going to be the ability for the vision to recognize images. Because I think if you have good images, what we're excited about doing here is we've taught our AI to understand what images look like. So if you say, hey, I need a home that is mid-century modern and has enough room for a 12-person table and whatever it may be, is recently renovated. If the agent doesn't put it in the description, why can't I recognize that from the photos? Like, hey, that has recently been renovated. That should match that description. And if you don't have good photos, I think you're going to be putting your clients at a huge disadvantage to be found. Or to not be found in that regard. And then I think the true unlock will be vision.
Airport too, because it's the virtual tour where the AI is going to be able to see, like for me, like I want a house, but don't give me a house where the half bath is next to the kitchen, because that's just fucking gross. Right? Like, that's exactly it. You need like a Matterport, like a 3D walkthrough, I think, for the AI to be able to see that. I don't know.
100%. I think the agents who are going to win are going to be the ones who understand how to get the system to work for you. And I think the quicker your audience and agents understand that this is their unfair advantage, really, and just to familiarize yourself with it right now, because every time there is an iteration cycle and these types of situations are possible, those who already know how to work the system are going to use it faster and are going to get business faster. And that's just how the game is going to work. So I know you have a lot of listeners, but at the end of the day, the number one tip I have for you is just start. Just go test something. Just go play with it. Understand the layout, because if the more knowledge you have, the bigger advantage you have, is what I'll say.
Yeah, I love that. That's the best advice. Just start. Just get out there.
Literally.
Okay, so you have data for Southern Ontario.
I do.
What is the big picture plan? Are you going cross Canada? Are you looking to expand into the US? Because the product is data dependent. So tell me what the future looks like for Mave.
Our focus for the foreseeable future is Southern Ontario. That's what we want to focus on for the next little while. But towards the end of 2025, we are going to start expanding to all the areas you mentioned. We want to get to the US as fast as possible. We want to go across Canada, and we're fortunate enough to have the pieces in place to get us there. But look, we are in a fortunate situation where we have a good amount of people waiting to just get onboarded. And our focus really, I know there was news of us, we raised a nice round of financing. We raised a few $1 million, and our team's now 10 or 11 people, and we're bringing more people on to just give these brokerages and agents access as fast as possible. And to your point, our goal is to get across Canada to the US as fast as possible once these users are all onboarded.
Yeah, and I do need to bring up, I do provide, I have the unique ability to provide Mave to my organization at EXP.
You do.
So if you want access to cool shit like this, like you're going to have to join me.
Whenever you want me on stage in Miami with you, Carrie, by all means. You want to go to Iceland? I'll come.
If you want cool shit, join Carrie. Like that's the theme.
Please.
He knows all the
CarrieSoave.ca/join. Click that.
That might actually be it. No, I'm joking. This was so much fun, Raz. I enjoy geeking out with you over AI. There's not many people that I get to talk to about AI on this level, and I really, really appreciate you. You are a brilliant business owner, and you are an even better friend, always there to support me and my nonsense and my drama. And I appreciate you so much.
I appreciate you too, Carrie. You're great. You're blowing up. I am thankful and appreciative of the opportunity to come on your podcast. And I'm always here for you. So I'm excited to keep talking.
All right. Thanks, guys. Okay.
Bye.
So I'm